on Wednesday night in ways no NBA team has ever done before. The thought entering anyone's mind could have easily been that the Lakers are a shell of themselves. They're not what they were last season. And by the way, don't even bother thinking they'll repeat as champions now that bubble play in Orlando is a distant memory.
Take this personal. Nobody's feeling bad for you. You're the champs.
Yet as we sit here today, lamenting the troubling state of affairs in Tinseltown, upon deeper reflection, one could actually sit here and say, thank God for LeBron James. The sports world has lost a lot in the last 13 months. First, there was former Commissioner David Stern in January 2020. Then there was the fatal helicopter crash that took the life of Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and 7 others. We could even point to the loss T-Wolves star Karl Anthony Towns suffered, losing his mom to COVID-19, included with more than 500,000 lives lost during this pandemic, infusing a level of despondency America hasn't experienced in more than a century. And the scare Tiger Woods gave us all with his single car accident on Tuesday morning certainly did not help. Yet there was LeBron, struggling no doubt, losing his 4th straight game, playing without the services of his all-world teammate Anthony Davis, frustrated over the flagrant lack of support without him, but still playing nevertheless, not missing a single game, proving once more that of all the great traits he has in his phenomenal arsenal, perhaps the greatest of them all is his availability.
I'm here to work, and I'm here to punch my clock in, and me being able to be available to my teammates is more important than anything.
LeBron shows up. He shows up in shape. He's always ready. And there isn't a thing anyone can come up with to accuse him of compromising his God-given gifts. Yeah, he's averaging 25 points per game. He's an all-star again, an MVP again, blah, blah, blah. All that comes to your mind until you're reminded that he's in his 18th season at age 36, and he just keeps on coming.
He just continues to keep going. He's a machine.
LeBron is LeBroning.
To play at this caliber, at this level, at 36 years old.
Doing so while others who are younger, fresher, supposedly starving, never succeed in usurping his greatness despite his age, attrition, and enough accomplishments to feel fulfilled. Leaving us all with nothing left to say, but sincerely, thank you. And damn, one day, we're really gonna...
Are you giving LA a pass last night just based on all the injuries they've been dealing with?
For me personally, no. If you want to go first, Max, I'll let you. But for me personally, I'm not giving the Lakers a pass. Not based off of what I saw last night. Max, if you want to go first, go ahead, because I got a lot to say. But go ahead, Max.
Well, I would just say, I mean, it makes no difference to me. If you want to respond to it, then the answer is yes, of course they get a pass. Of course they get a pass because this team was constructed top heavy. They don't have a big 3, they got a big 2. Not just a big 2, a giant 2, an MVP 2, an historically great 2. But what that means is the rest of the roster is going to be a little thinner than some other rosters. Now, I know you look at when LeBron and AD are there, they don't look thin. They have a lot of guys doing a lot of things, but the presence of those two enable those guys to do those things. You know who else isn't there? Dennis Schroeder. And the thing about any team is you need several players who can do the following. They have to be able to get you into your offense and go get their own shot. If they can't create that way in those 2 ways combined, really, you got a problem. No team has no one like that in their offense. They wouldn't be able to play in the league. The Lakers really have 2 guys like that in the offense, LeBron and Schroeder. Why is LeBron playing so many minutes? Because without Schroeder, they got 1 guy, and now they don't have AD. So all those complementary pieces, it's not the same. You know, I love Talen Horton-Tucker, and he can create for himself, but is he going to really create for others? Everyone else is a role player to one degree or another, to one degree of effectiveness or another in their role, but they're role players. And so you really look at LeBron and a bunch of role players in a long season without the only other guy who can create and get you into the offense, without the other big 2 on his prime partner on a top-heavy team, and then they run into a buzzsaw. The Jazz are the hottest team in the league, playing the most perfect basketball in the league, and the Lakers are on the road. Yeah, they get a pass for last night.
I can't give them a pass, Max Kellerman, because I'm just looking at the manner in which they got destroyed. And we're going to get into the Utah Jazz a little bit later, but I will say this to America. The Utah Jazz have hit 53 pointers in the last 2 games. No team in NBA history, not even the Golden State Warriors, have done that. This team is scary. And I'm not going to lie, Max, I didn't see it. You know, we just had this conversation a couple of weeks ago when you were raving about the Utah Jazz. I didn't see it. I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell, and I said, I got to see it to believe it. I got to see it to believe it. I got to see it to believe it. And I look at the Lakers last night, and the reason why I don't give them a pass, it's not just because the Jazz were making shots. It's how little resistance they posed. You know what? You can struggle without Anthony Davis and Dennis Schroeder offensively. What's the excuse defensively? This is a Frank Vogel defensively coached team. Frank Vogel knows a thing or two about coaching defense. That's why he got the head coaching job to begin with, even though he wasn't the Lakers' first choice, because of the job that he did in Indiana all of those years when they were trying to compete for an Eastern Conference crown against LeBron James and Dwayne Wade's Miami Heat. But in the end, I look at the Los Angeles Lakers. Just because Anthony Davis and Dennis Schroeder's not there doesn't mean that you're supposed to forget how to play defense. Stay in front of your man. Stay with your man. Not letting everybody have a damn layup line, for crying out loud, or get wide open 3-point shots. Where's the defensive intensity? Where's the pride? Where's the pride? And I'm not talking about LeBron James. I'm not talking about him at all, because the man shows up. And let's give credit where credit is due. He just didn't have any help. I'm looking at everybody else in between. I'm looking at a Morris. I'm looking at a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I'm looking at an Alex Caruso. I'm looking at all of these other guys. I'm just saying, defense for the most part is about effort. And when the Jazz show up, I understand that Rudy Gobert is a force. I understand that Donovan Mitchell is a stud. Mike Conley Jr. didn't miss a shot in the first half. Okay? And I'm just looking at them right now. At halftime, the Utah Jazz had went 6 quarters hitting 43 threes. I understand that's a problem until I'm looking and I'm saying, damn, how much more wide open can they be? Now, there's a lot that goes into that. And again, we'll get into that when we get into the subject on the Utah Jazz. But in the end, I'm going to look at the Los Angeles Lakers. You're champions. And yes, a regular season game, and I'm not going to overblow it. I'm simply talking about, if you know you don't have Anthony Davis, and you know you don't have Dennis Schroeder, and Rajon Rondo is no longer there, and Dwight Howard is no longer there, and JaVale McGee is no longer there, I'm going to blame one or two things. I'm going to blame effort, or I'm going to blame Rob Pelinka, because you can't lose both of McGee and Dwight Howard, even though Montrezl Harrell is what you added to the mix. You can't. It's either effort or it's the fact that those dudes ain't there, and you have no rim protection whatsoever. It's one or the other. But either way you slice it, as good as Utah is and as good as they look, it's about the Lakers too. And as we sit here and talk about the Lakers, Max, that's what I walk away looking at. Effort or, you let 2 bigs get away that you shouldn't have let get away.
Well, it's fair to say, hey, guys, you got to step up. KCP, Caruso, everybody, you got to step up, especially with also in Schroeder's absence. The fact is they're missing 2 of their 3 best players. If you had to take a 3rd best player on the team, certainly a 3rd most important player, to me it's Schroeder. They don't have AD and they don't have Schroeder. That's 1. 2, remember when I said there's a silver lining in AD's injury provided he comes back as AD? Because you're right when you say he better come back as AD. They ain't going to beat the Nets. That's right. But maybe not the Jazz. But provided he comes back as AD, what'd I say? LeBron in Cleveland and in Miami, in recent years, last 6 or 7 years, early in the season, he's trying to figure out what he needs to do to lead a group of guys to the promised land, because he's in the finals every year. So he always figures it out. But early on, sometimes we'll see, remember back in the day, the Heat don't have a great record. The Cavs don't have a great record because he's figuring it out. He needs to know who I can rely on, like who can LeBron rely on? What positions does he need to put them in so if they fail at one thing, they can succeed at another? And he usually takes it's an incubation period, basically, with LeBron. I think we're also seeing that. There's some fatigue, yes. You're right, some guys need a little more effort would be nice. But really, it's AD's not there, and Schroeder's not there, and LeBron's trying to figure the rest of these guys out. And they're on the road. They ran into a buzzsaw. Stephen A., they get a pass from me.